Thank you, Charla. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to my presentation. I'm happy you could join me today. My name is Skye Hoopai, and today I will be going over my senior capstone proposal presentation, and my topic is on the art of movement. So before we start, just a little overview about me. I'm a four-year here at West Oahu, and this is my second capstone attempt. I graduated from Mililani High School in 2022, and I'm a concentration in communications and new technology. And I'm a digital artist in my free time, but I like to do a lot of different things. My current interest is in character design and visual development, and currently I'm professionally a character illustrator for a small local company called InaQuest. And as always, I'm going to go over the executive summary through this presentation. I have the plans for my senior capstone project. I'm going to state my thesis statement and objective and rationale for the research I've conducted, and I'm going to address significance of my proposed project and practicum with my research. So just to start, here's my thesis. Sorry, blocking a little bit. Okay, here's my thesis. So thoughtful design elements such as layout, signage, lighting, color, shape, and accessibility play a crucial role in motivating movement by guiding behavior, enhancing comfort, and encouraging physical engagement within a space. So here's the objective and rationale for the research I've chosen to conduct. Here's my personal connection. Personally, I believe that effective design is a powerful tool to shape a community. And I also come from a family of people in the aviation industry. So movement and transportation are a big part of my life. Here is my overall rationale for the research I've conducted. So the research on movement overall improves community well-being, it can strengthen social connection by motivating movement through visual mediums, and it can enhance design practices by thinking about its psychological impacts. And design can also promote healthy engagement with the environment and can lead to a culture of sustainability and respect. And design can also increase the effectiveness. So the correlation between movement and design can also increase the effectiveness of public design decisions. Okay, so the chosen route I have gone for my senior capstone would be a project. And I believe that with my lack of opportunity to carry out research with my current internships, this is a great chance to apply newly learned concepts and create an original design and have a strong portfolio piece for myself. Okay, now I'm going to go over the significance of the research that I've conducted, starting with the first one. So design directly influences brain behavior. Okay, so we know that any stimuli an individual interacts with will activate neural pathways tied to motivation, perception, and reward anticipation, and design elements are significant and unique external stimuli. Therefore, movement is not random and is biologically shaped by the environment that we are born in, and the future implications of this information state that design can be used to promote healthier habits, specifically with movement that involves movement and body activity. It can reduce stress and encourage positive behaviors in the brain, and design has the potential to be a standard tool for behavior focused planning. Okay, so number two, culturally sensitive design is essential for movement. So in my research, I conducted three different case studies. The three are Denmark, Japan, and the United States, and each interpret spatial cues differently. And although principles and design elements are usually considered universal, color, openness, and mark making and layouts don't motivate everyone in the same way depending on where they're from. So the future implications that this research has is that as society changes, designers and planners need to be adaptive, and the strategies they implement to implement movement in their installations could change over time. So this could lead to global design guidelines that make environments based not only on neuroscience, but also on diversity, accessibility, and different user experiences. So the image I have on the right is from the High Line in New York City. Okay, so number three, movement-focused environments that can imply long-lasting effects. So case studies show that clear layouts and emotionally engaging spaces can increase long-term physical activity and social interaction, as I have stated before, but it is not just momentary movement. So the future implications of this information state that urban areas could use design to combat inactivity and can improve morale and strengthen community and engagement. So future research on this subject could further indicate which which specific design features can yield the strongest overall long-term health outcomes. Okay, so as for the data, the visual data graph I have on my presentation, um, it's a case study, not specifically rated to, oh, it's specifically rated to New York, sorry. And this finds a correlation between walkable cities and movement. So it basically shows that regardless of the demographic of people, if they move from a less walkable city to New York, which is considered a very walkable city, they'll find a heavy increase in movement. So this finds that cities that encourage movement increase physical activity, and this regards different demographics such as age, gender, just overall background. And findings suggest that changes in physical activity levels were due to changes in their environment rather than pre-existing preferences for or motivation to move more. So it was entirely external. Okay, so the target audience for my project reaches and my research reaches a wide range of people because of the topic that covers design, psychology, and urban planning. These groups can have a goal of creating environments that intentionally shape desired human behavior and improve public experiences. So some examples I've laid out for the target audience would be architects and environmental designers, academics in interdisciplinary fields, and private business owners who possibly would want to motivate people a certain way through their designs. Okay, so here's my solution for this research and my project. I've decided to make a macro scale architectural model as a tool for studying movement-centered design. And my statement for this is, by integrating neuroscience, psychology, and design theory and cross-cultural analysis into their work, designers can actively shape human movement and behavior, making decisions an active agent in influencing physical engagement levels and providing evidence-based framework that future designers can use to create more motivating spaces. Okay, so on to a more in-depth on my deliverable. So here's my project description. It's a small-scale architectural model that demonstrates how environmental design elements can motivate and direct physical human movement. So the model will represent an art gallery and with different variations in layout, color, and signage and lighting. So I also conduct the study on the side using photographs, walkthrough videos, or physical viewings of each model variation, and participants will describe how they will move through the perceived space and rate the levels of comfort and desire to stay within a space based on the changes in each variation of the model. Okay, let me just explain a little bit about the chosen model I've decided to do for this project. So the gallery should lead into sightlines, pacing, and imply lingering zones, and it'll include an entrance, a primary path of action, and possibly a focal wall point or reference, and a bench or seating zone and a secondary path. So these are some of the research questions I've laid out through this model I've decided to design. So the first one is, I'm trying to see how layout changes, such as straight, curved, open or closed, change how and where people think to walk through and stop in the gallery. I also want to know how signage and color influence perceived clarity of navigation and draw attention to certain works of art just based on the space designed. I also want to figure out how lighting can emphasize change in which parts of the gallery people treat as important versus not important, and which parts are worth lingering in. So here's my rationale for the chosen project I've decided to go with. So I believe this project extends my research on design and its correlation to movement by turning theory into application with a testable prototype. The model allows me to experience and explore how design choices affect perceived routes, and by collecting and analyzing participants' imagined movement paths through the different configurations, this project shows how movement-centered design can be communicated and elevated without the need for a full-scale installation. And my reason for choosing a gallery is that even though the space isn't designed to get people to move swiftly and actively, it is still the design that controls how people move and where they move, and still controls movement and studies how design can also bring comfort and well-being. Okay, so onto a brief process for next semester. So for the pre-process, I'll be buying materials, gathering an unbiased study group, measuring, sketching, studying how architects build models, and then for the actual production, I'll be physically building the model. I'll be documenting my findings and process through maybe an Instagram campaign to show that I am actively doing this. And then while I'm in production, I'll be forming questions to ask the participants. And then for the post production, I'll be conducting the study, documenting results of the study, and sharing my findings with people online. Okay, so that is the end of my pre capstone proposal. Thank you for joining me, and I'll take any questions from now on.